In this video, I'm going to show you a couple of little nice things you can do with a form. We're going to add a contact to a group when they fill in the form automatically. So to start with, in the top right, I'm going to click New Form. I'm going to write Example Groups Form, and we're going to click Continue. And here we've got a basic form. We just have a contact field here on the left. I'm going to click that. I'm actually going to just remove some of these fields for simplicity. We'll get rid of the date of birth. We'll just leave first name, last name, and gender. That'll do. And I'm going to click the contact field, so it's selected on the left, and it's blue. And on the right-hand side with the field settings, if I scroll down here, I can see this area where it says Add to Groups or Teams. Now, if I click Find, I can choose the groups or teams that I want to add them to. So let's say we want to add them to anyone that fills in this form and fills in their details there. We want to add them to the Young Adults Life group. Now, if I click Done, and that's set there. Let's save this form. Hit save. And here we have the example groups form. I'm going to open the public link. And here I'm just going to type in Mickey Mouse. And we'll choose the gender and we'll hit submit. And we'll go back over here to view our submissions. And you can see we've got our example groups form that was submitted by Mickey Mouse. And if I click this and then click the contact and then choose the groups, I'll actually be able to see that he's been added into the Young Adults Life group right there. So that's the simple way of having someone be added into a group based on a form that they submit. Now let's kick it up a notch. I'm going to go back to the forms over here. I'm going to go to all forms. I'm going to go to our example groups form that we just created before. I'm going to click the contact, and that method I just showed you is helpful if you know the group that you want these people to go into. However, I'm going to deselect that, and what we're going to do now is we're actually going to add a field where they can choose the group they want to join. So I'm going to click Add Field in the bottom left-hand corner. I'm going to click Multiple Choice, and for the title, I'm going to say, please select the group you would like to join. And I'm going to drag this field, this is important, into the contact so that it's a subfield of this contact. And this is the other important thing I'm going to need to do is just here where it says key, this is the database key. There's a little pencil, I'm going to click it. I'm going to change this to the word groups, all in lowercase. Now this just tells Fluoro that the data we're going to send is actually going to be groups that we want this person to join. So I'm now going to change the data type to a content reference, and the reference type I'm going to search for group, and I'm going to choose group or team. And this select dropdown is going to give me groups or teams that it's just going to be a dropdown that they get to choose. And down here where it says allowed references, I'm just going to click off the field and back onto it just so it understands that the allowed references are only groups and teams. And I'm going to hit find. And here I can choose the groups or teams that I want them to be able to join. So I've got a few different ones here. I can just select the ones I want them to join. I can also reorder them by dragging them. And then over here, if I click the fields, you can see they can pick the group that they'd like to join. Now, we can also change the maximum answers to 0, which means there is no maximum of what they can pick, which means they can pick down here and they can select multiple groups they'd like to join. Now that that's done, I've made sure that my key is groups, and I've made sure that the field is inside the contact. If I hit save, and I click the 3 dots, and we click public form link, over here, we now have our form. I can write Donald Duck, male, and here I can choose the groups that I'd like to add Donald Duck to. And I hit submit. And if we go back over here, we tap the 3 dots, we look at our submissions. I'll just hit refresh because we have a new submission that's just come in, Donald Duck. If I click that form and I click Donald Duck to look at his profile, if I click the groups, you'll see that he's in the groups that we just picked when we filled in the form. Now that's pretty handy. That'll probably suit most needs. However, I'm going to tap the 3 dots here. We'll go back to our form over here. And now we're going to kick it up another notch. I'm going to remove this field. I'm going to add another field. This is just going to be another multiple choice. I'm going to drag it into the contact. We'll just drag it down a little bit. I'm going to call it groups. I'm going to make sure that that key down here is groups. And I'm going to leave this as text rather than choose a content reference. And down here, I'm going to choose where I've got the options of option 1, option 2, option 3, and 4. I'm going to get rid of a few of these options. And I'm going to change the name to be I like motorbikes and I like cars. And for the value, this is where it gets interesting. I'm going to open a new window and I'm going to find the groups that I want them to join. And let's say if they like motorbikes, I want to add them to Cade's life group. So I'm going to, up here in the URL, I'm just going to select that. This is the ID of the group. I can also get that by clicking the I in the bottom left and just clicking the fluoro ID here. And now that that's copied, I can go over here and put that in, I've just pressed the wrong thing. Click copy, and then I'm going to paste it in here, Control V. So now we've got our value in there, and I'm going to go back here to my other tab. I'm going to find another group, maybe this one, and I'm going to select the ID just from the URL and put the other ID in here. And now what that means is I can click here and I can actually see that I've renamed what it says. So I like motorbikes or I like cars, but the value that's actually going to be saved to the database is this ID. So if we hit save, and we take a look at our form, click the public form link. I've opened a lot of tabs in this video. Here I can write Minnie Mouse, and we can choose female, and the groups I can choose I like cars, and if I hit submit, and we go back over here, we find our submissions. We'll just refresh this over here, click Minnie Mouse, click her profile. And if we click these groups over here, she'll actually be added into the group that she picked based on the options of I like cars or I like motorbikes. That's a little bit more advanced. Now you'll also notice that the backend has actually realized and seen that Minnie Mouse is already in the system and she was already in another group, so it's just added her into this new group as well. So she'd previously submitted an extra form about 15 minutes ago. Yeah, so that's kind of a cool feature with groups, and it's actually requested quite a lot.